features that were spotted straight away. Terminal N. This is the original core Y-shaped and W-shaped. And let's just call it high and low. Also, you can use treble versus bass, cold versus warm. Just pick two polarizing states, the polar ends of a spectrum. That's not the only shade, but these are the dominants that are terminal features in the Turkic half of me. Going through the English for the indigenous landscape, create the NG, but also the NGK variant in the indigenous scale. That's just N with the G or N with the GK. My ability to bridge into that type of paradigm would be from that K going into a T. Within that spectrum between K into T, while applying this topography to the English last week, I saw, in English, they have their form as well. They have N, V, N, T. I started to recognize my terminal N are able to plug in. However, the embellishments, they're also carrying unique identifying states as well, just like the indigenous one. That was one of the first, wow, fuck. And I've hardly just begun. And that was just within one exercise using isolated sound bites, not even a full-on structured sentence yet. When I observed that behaviour, I saw, holy fuck. It's a massive Pandora's box of information carried in the written word. I'm not okay to study English just right now because trying to map the Turkic half is the most critical because that's the actual endangered one that dies with me. English is already taken care of. The Turkic half is the one in danger. It's not a exclusionist decision, but last week's exercise was able to show me it's just as beneficial to apply that Wombatistani form onto my English to start seeing it through the Turkic scaffolding. Through that, I was able to see how both languages are able to inform each other. I've already observed that if I entertain, look, study, research, and learn more of how other languages have represented sound and how they actually speak it, I learn more about myself. Beneficial to cross-reference. My present state is, yeah, I'll get there eventually when I've managed to reach enough closure on the Turkic half. My being was alarmed by how many new typographic tools I required to process the English and the impact of holy shit, look at the fucking consistency that is already embedded. What do you mean by terminal? It's at the end, it finishes, it's a terminator. This is an initiating state, this is a throughway state, and that's a finish. A lot of initiating letters are currently signified with a dot at the bottom. That was just one method. Your letter R at the beginning, then I've got my spine of R where you'll see the RR. That function is capturing this vowel travels into that one all the time. Those are the consistency states that I've mapped, noticed, dominates my language, and that's why it required that ligature to try and capture that. The L is another form which has this throughway function, but there's also the terminal R. I had to find a method to terminate. It's like a hangman to signal finish. And then the subject of how phonetically transparent is this really starts going into the subject of, yeah, right, but what about your dirty T? Oh no. And that complication is caused by how it doesn't matter if you say this part with a D or a T, it's not going to impact comprehension. Certain states trigger you for your dumb dance, but other consonants are requiring you to contain instead. That is just the natural flow of how sound comes out of the mouth. They create the these rules imposed, and then it became transcribed this way, that way, this way, that way. But that transcription decision was not based on the people as a whole. Does everyone actually do it like that? Yes or no? Yes or no? Not really. I have variation, and just because I swing D or T doesn't get in the way. All D letters can now die and be replaced with that one safely. However, not with this sound T. That T sound requires its own identity. When processing a document, I can't replace all T's, but I can do that for the D. Similarly, with other letters that have done that, such as that glockenspiel, are you saying G? Are you saying K? Or are you saying U? There's going to be other clusters in the Bergurken cluster that can fit here. Sometimes it's even a ch, especially if it's followed by I. There's gi, ki, chi. When I say ki, I'm using the K from the back of the throat, but someone else is going to hear that as a chi, including myself. Ki sounds like chi, not ki, ki, chi, ki, ki, chi, ki. The back of my tongue part with a K is still functioning the same as a similar noise. I think I've covered most of it. However, the little annotative ET, BT, T, I might need to keep that T sound is a complication because there's more going on with it. That becomes the next subject. Right now, the break and zoom in further on the behaviour of T. Get used to